subject. So might as well get started. We're here. Yeah, your Earthberg is the worm. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. We're here every day, every weekday, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's all about the network growing. And so we're in a stage right now where we're daring you to grow. We're going through the book, The 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell. And I'm actually your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator. Now, we've got our co-host here today who's been visiting us and hanging with us, Mr. Dotan. How are you today?
Good morning, Mr. Evan, and good morning to everyone on the line. I'm happy to be here once again to carry on with this great discussion we've been having around the 15 laws of growth.
Absolutely, man. So we are in the first law, in case you guys don't remember, and you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on our website, wealthyhealthyhappy.net. I'll put that link in the chat below. Was the law of intentionality. It's saying you need to be intentional about where you want to go, know where you want to go, and be intentional about getting there. And now we're into the law of awareness. We talked yesterday about having a sense of direction, and today we want to talk about how to find your passion and your purpose, how to find your passion and your purpose. So the first step towards change is awareness. And the second step is acceptance. That's a quote by Nathaniel Braden. And we have a couple of questions to go through that'll help us to find our passion and our purpose. If you're a person that's saying, I don't know what that is, or you just need some help refining it for yourself. Maybe you've kind of landed on exactly where you want to go, but you want to make sure, hey, I'm in my right vein and I'm in my right purpose. And so one of the first things that you want to ask yourself is, do you like what you're doing now? Do you like what you're doing now? Okay, secrets of I'll keep that in mind. Do you like what you're doing now? And so basically it's saying that here's the interesting thing I read about this. You know, many people are living life not on their own terms. And if you're here in America, we got a lot of decisions that we can make, and we can decide whichever direction that we go. And when I talk to people, I tell them, like, didn't you decide to work at the job that you're working at? Didn't you decide to drive the car that you're driving? Didn't you decide to live in a house that you're living in? So these are decisions that we made. And maybe we started with the job and we loved it when we first started. It was an opportunity. It was new. It was fresh. And then now whatever has happened over the months, the years, we've fallen out of favor with the things that we're doing. So do you like what you're doing now? Now, here's the deal. Moving forward or changing, there is risk involved. And so I want to read this because this really touched me as I thought about this. Is it a risk making a change from what you're currently doing to what you want to do? Of course it is, right? You might fail. You might find out that you don't like it as much as you expected. You might not make as much money. But isn't there also great risk in staying where you are? You might fail. You might get fired. You might take a pay cut. Or worst of all, you might come to the end of your life feeling regret of never having reached your potential or doing what you love. Here's the question. Which risk would you rather live with? Mr. Dotan, do you like what you're doing? Is the question that we're asking to the people. I know that you are a Maxwell coach, and you can help us expound on this question.
Yeah, do I like what I'm doing is a very good question to ask, because we're talking about corporate America or wherever corporate life we end up in our individual countries. The truth is that what is driving the life of most people is how to pay the bills rather than how I want to achieve my potential in life or how I want to fulfill my purpose, which is really the two things that will help us be fulfilled in life. But it's rather unfortunate that despite the fact that a study was carried out and it showed that about 70% of Americans do not like the job that they're doing, yet they still go to the job. They still, not only that, they still look for the next job, even though they don't like the job that they do. Why? Because the driving factor there is, I gotta pay the bills anyway. And life shouldn't be about paying the bills, but life should be about how I can do what I really love so that I am fulfilled. We must drive our life in such a way that we have a better handle of how we are living life. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you don't want to get to the end of life and be filled with regret that if I had known, you don't want to end life saying, if I had known, I should have just done what I really wanted to do. And so that's a big question to ask when it comes to the issue of purpose. And I know many people get it, but for some reason, they are still locked up in being forced to do what they don't want to do. So, what then should we do from here in order to be able to do what we really love? I think it has to do with, first of all, I mean, if you are in a job and you are locked up in that job for now, you can at least have a transition plan. You can begin to think about, how can I transition out of this? You may not be able to live right away, but the truth is, what risk are you taking by not even getting out when you are supposed to get out of it? So now we are in a downtown economy. Anyone could be fired. Even when you're an A-star employee, you could be fired. You could take a pay cut. Your company could be bought over, and then you lose the job. So would you rather take the step of faith and get into what you know you ought to be doing, knowing that even that's a risk in itself? I think I'd rather take a step out of what I need to be doing in life and take a shot at it, because risk will always be there, and failure is something we have to cope with anyway to get into success. So I'd rather take a shot at taking a risk, doing what I really want to do, and giving it all it takes for it to work out. That's my take on that.
Absolutely. I remember, and I tell people this, I said, when you get to the end of your life, and this is part of one of my keynote speeches, I don't want to meet you, all of you, I don't want to meet you in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, come across your path and we have a conversation and you be the person that say, I wish that I had. I wish that I had. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be the person that says, I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did. So don't be the person when I meet you in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, I come back across your path at some point in time in life and you be like, Evan, I wish that I had. No, don't be that person. I want you to be that person that says, you know what, Evan, I'm glad that I did, whatever that is for you. And so are you doing what you like to do right now? That's the first question. That's one of the first things you want to assess. And as he said, it may not be something where you walk away from your job right now. We're not saying that, but you can begin to make steps. You can begin to plan. You can begin to think of what it is that you really would like to do. And you can start to make progress towards your worthy ideal. You can start to make progress towards that thing. I had an exit strategy before I left my job. My exit strategy was in place for 1.5 years, and I was working my plan. When you got a plan, you can work your plan. If you don't have a plan, you're just sitting there like, man, I got to do something, but plan it out and figure out what it is that you like to do. So the second question, as we talk about how to find your passion and your purpose, if you've assessed the first question, do you like what you're doing right now? Some people do like what they're doing right now. So obviously that first question wouldn't relate to you. But then the question would be, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? See, sometimes people spend so much time thinking about what they don't want to do that they don't give any energy to figuring out what it is that they would like to do. So what would you like to do, Mr. Dotan?
What would you like to do is, again, it's the question around finding your purpose in life. We all have things that, so if you want to drill down that question, what would I like to do? I like to use this as a litmus test, in the sense that, okay, if money is not involved, would I still do it? Many of us like to do several things, but then the litmus test is, okay, if I get this opportunity now and I don't have to be paid for this, would I still continue doing it? Will I still like it the same way? If I still like it the same way, I don't care whether I'm being paid or not. Maybe that's a very, very good indicator. Second litmus test for me is that if I have just 6 months to live, is this the thing I'll rather focus on for the rest of my life in that short time space that I have? If the answer is still the same, like what I answered when I said, okay, even if money is not involved, this is what I'll do. If both match, I think 95 to 100% chance is that that's your purpose in life. But first of
Absolutely.
all, is will I do this without any money being involved? Number two, if I have just 6 months to live, is this what I would rather do for the remaining time of my life? If both match, there's a 95 to 100% chance that that's your purpose in life.
Wow. So would you keep doing what you're currently doing, guys, if you didn't get paid for it? And if you knew I only had 6 months left to go, would you still continue doing what you're doing? Now I know in my old job that wasn't the case. That answer was no, no, no. so I had to start moving towards something I said I could give my life away to. And I did a video yesterday and it asked this question: what are you willing to die for? I asked that question: what are you willing to die for? What are you willing to die yourself for? Martin Luther King said, if you haven't found something, if a man hasn't found something that he's willing to die for, then he's unfit to live. So have you found something that you're willing to die for? So I know many of us, we could be in that place, and that's great. We're in a great space. But there's others who are connected to us who may not be in that space. And we want to help them to get to that space where they're living in their passion, living their purpose. And here's what I say, guys. I say that once you get to this space, you're living from a position of power. I'll repeat that again. You're living from a position of power, and this world needs you living from a position of power. When you have power, you can really make a difference, and you can really find your success along with significance because you're operating in your passion and your purpose. Now, here's what it says. It says, have you found and harnessed your passion? Do you know what you like to do? When you do, it makes a difference. When you tap into your passion, it gives you the double E factor. That's energy and excellence. The double E factor is energy and excellence. Now, here's the deal. You will never fulfill your destiny doing work that you despise. Repeat that again. You will never fulfill your destiny doing work that you despise. Passion gives you the advantage over others because one person with passion is greater than 99 who only have an interest. How many of you guys know people who just have an interest? And there's this great quote from Les Brown. He said that interest shows up in conversation, but commitment shows up in behavior. I know plenty of people who will say they want to do something, but they never see it in their actions. A person with passion has the advantage over 99 people who only have an interest, because the 99 people who only have an interest, they never do anything. It's just lip service. But the person with passion goes out and gets stuff done. They make stuff happen. They make the ocean move and the waves collapse. Then also said passion gives you energy. If you wake up every morning and you have no energy, think about it. I did whatever I did yesterday. I exhausted my day and I went to bed because I had used all of my energy for the day, and I went to bed to rest so I could refuel my energy. Then I woke up this morning and I had no energy. You're not tired, you're uninspired. I'll repeat that again. You're not tired, you're uninspired. Remember, think about the last time that you were inspired, the last time that you had passion running through you. You couldn't sleep. It was like, okay, I gotta sleep because my body's saying it, but I'm still ready to keep on going. So you're not tired, you're uninspired. And when you tap into your passion, you tap into your purpose, you become inspired. And that, the energy that you carry with you. I see Karen, she's talking all the time about writing this book. She has an energy about her. Mr. Patrick, he's working on this phenomenal thing that he's working on. He has an energy about him. Even though we don't see them, even though they are just on the side chat, we can still feel their energy because it's this purpose that they have. It fuels them to continue to talk about what they're doing each and every day. If you woke up this morning and you don't have any energy, I would say that you're not tired. You're uninspired. Mr. Dotan.
You're not tired, but you're uninspired. Inspiration, I mean, it's also something we need to be locked up into in anything that we're doing, because that will help us with a level of commitment. And sometimes we fall in the level of inspiration towards something, but then if you are doing something that you are passionate about, even when you sometimes feel a little bit uninspired, maybe you're facing some kind of discouragement, the truth is that if it's something that you're passionate about, you'll rise above even that challenge at that point in time. That's again one of the ways where you can sort of like say or get to feel, okay, yeah, I'm doing something I really, really love. I'm just facing this challenge at this point in time, but I keep going anyway. And energy, being able to find a energy level is very, very important because, as you said, uh, as some people say, the universe is about energy, right?
Yeah.
Everything in the universe is about energy. And that's where it comes to the fact that when we face those times in our life when we sort of like feel uninspired, you should ask yourself, what am I doing to help myself in this? And one of the ways in which you can help yourself out of that is to surround yourself with like-minded people, because we all have our ups and downs in life, right? But if you are in the flow, you are in a community, you are able to tap into the mind power of other people, even at those low points in life. And that helps you to quickly get over those moments or those challenging moments that you may be experiencing at that point in time. So what we are doing right now, for example, is community. Some of the people on the line may not have woken up on the right side of the bed today, unfortunately. But the truth is that when you get into this kind of conversation, because some other people bring their high energy into the room, what happens is that you tap into that mind energy without you knowing, and there's a transfer. And before you know it, you leave the conversation feeling okay again, which is the reason why you must ensure that you're always plugged into the right environment. Because as they say, environment is much more powerful than willpower.
Oh, fantastic, guys. So, yeah, that's right, man. I mean, quite honestly, man, how many of you guys have been getting a lot out of this show? I mean, we've been doing it for a little while, and some of you guys have been here consistently over time. How many of you guys have been getting a lot out of this show? How many of you guys look forward to being here? How many of you guys are saying that, man, I can't start my day without coming to this show? And the deal is that we're transferring energy. It's not just energy coming from me or from Mr. Dotan. It's energy also that's coming from you. Your comments that you leave on the side, it gives us energy to know that, hey, we're going in the right direction. The props, the hands up that you give if we're talking to let us know, hey, keep on going, keep on going. Because guess what, guys? As a group on this caravan, on this journey, we're making a difference. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think yesterday we had like 50 people on here. Like, we're making a difference. So just know that you are inspiring us and we are inspiring you, and there's inspiration going back and forth. There's energy going back and forth, and we're all growing together. And again, I dare you to grow, but I also want you to dare me to grow. So here's the deal. We talked about, he just killed it, right? We talked about, hey, do you like what you're doing now? And then the second question is, what would you like to do? And the third question, I found this to be a little interesting, but the question was, can you do what you would like to do? Can you do what you would like to do? Now, I believe the premise here is that that you might have a far-fetched idea, or it might seem far-fetched, but you have to start preparing yourself for that opportunity to do what you would love to do. And so we understand that luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And the question is, if the opportunity came for you today to do what you would love to do, are you prepared to take advantage of that opportunity? Maybe that opportunity requires some type of degree. Maybe that opportunity requires you to be in some, maybe some speaking class or something like a Toastmasters or something like that. Maybe that opportunity requires you to have shown some level of success prior to you getting the position. So the question is, can you do what you would like to do? If the opportunity presented itself to you right now to get whatever your dream job is, or dream career, or dream thing that you'd like to do, are you prepared to take advantage of the opportunity? Now, it was interesting because I've seen people, even in the church, for example, that say, hey, I want to be like the pastor, right? But then maybe an opening comes up and then they shy away because, like, I don't think I'm really ready. I mean, like, our eyes are bigger than our wallet. Like, our eyes are bigger than our aspirations are bigger than what we are really prepared for right now. Sometimes you got to step into it and you got to crash and burn, but you got to ask yourself, I don't know how big your dream is, but are you prepared for it? Now, I can tell you right now, my big dream is to own a school, to open a school, right? Am I prepared for it right now? No, I'm not, because I have no idea how to open a school. But that's not going to stop me from preparing myself for the opportunity when it comes. So, so ask yourself, are you prepared? And if you're not, you can make progress towards that preparation or preparing for that opportunity, because guess what? The opportunity will come as you are making progress towards your worthy ideal. So can you do what you would like to do? Mr. Dotan.
Can you do what you like to do? That's the self-assessment question. So we all have dreams, and dreams are necessary for success. But then, is that dream possible? Is it possible right now, or do I have natural limits that I need to overcome? Most likely, yes, because the truth is that when we dream about something, it's something a little bit further out. It's not something that is here right now. And we need to take certain steps in order to achieve that dream. And that requires us growing in certain areas in order to overcome our natural limits. And so we want to know where the difference between what it takes to do what we can do now and what it takes to do what we would like to do, so that we have like a gap analysis and how we want to bridge that gap. So for example, if what I would love to do requires that I get better in my ability to speak to the public, then maybe, as you said, I want to join Toastmasters in order to begin to grow in that area, because that will help me towards me fulfilling my dream, which is required for my success. And then the other question, which we can refer to here, it says that, do you know what drives you and gives you satisfaction? What drives you and gives you satisfaction? Or do you even know what your values and priorities are, and what are your organization's values and priorities? So if we narrow that down into, do I know what it takes for me to achieve my success? It helps us to be able to, again, narrow our focus, because that's very essential in us being able to be laser focused in achieving our dreams for success. So I want to find out the reason why I am where I am right now, and what I need to do to take certain steps in order to be able to grow towards the direction where I need to go in life, and then putting the plan in place for that growth plan, which essentially is what we've been talking about on the 15 laws of growth. I need to be self-aware of my limits. I need to be self-aware of my areas of strength, and then see how I can leverage my areas of strength immediately, so I can begin taking baby steps while I work also on my areas of weakness. So I have that right balance, because most times, again, we sort of like tend to have too much focus on what we cannot do, rather than also know what we can do very well and begin to leverage that while we grow in the other area where we need to overcome our natural limits in order for us to be able to achieve our dream for success.
Absolutely, guys. And so I asked the question, what is your big dream? There may be some people here today that don't know what their big dream is, because you haven't tapped into your passion and your purpose yet. But there are some people here that say, hey, man, mine is to go to law school. Mine is to own a training facility. I told you mine is to have a school, is to open up my own school. Man, what's your big dream? What is your big dream? Don't, if you want to keep it a secret, I understand. But if you don't, go ahead and let the world know. You're declaring to the world that this is where I'm going. This is my big dream. This is where I'm going. I may not be ready for it right now. I don't know. But I'm getting ready for it. I'm getting ready for it. I need everybody to say that right now. Type that in the chat box below. I'm getting ready for it. You are getting ready for your dream. You're preparing for the opportunity. I'm getting ready for it. And so we had the question of what am I doing? Do I like what I'm doing now? And then also the question of can you do what you would like to do? And also, what would you like to do? And the fourth question, we'll talk about this, and this will be the last question we go through, and we'll pick back up on tomorrow. But do you know why you want to do what you would like to do? Now, we talk about this all the time, right? You're getting ready for it. Getting ready for it is to know your why. To know your why. And I think this is so valuable and so important to know. And I went through this process yesterday, knowing my why, knowing not knowing my little why and knowing my big why. Because you're going to fall into these times where you shrink back, where you think that, man, maybe my dream is just way too big. You're going to think all these different things. Your mind it goes so many different places at different times, depending on what you subject it to, right? But when you can always come back to your why, and I would suggest that you review your why each and every day. This is why I get up in the morning. This is why I do what I do. I make it a part of my declaration. I make it a part of my affirmations every day. This is why I do this. What does that do for me? That gives me the energy to get on this call, right? This is why I'm doing this call. This is why I'm doing this show. This is why I do the things that I do. And then you start to see more clues come your way, because success leaves clues. So you start to see those things like, yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You see it throughout the day. Yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Knowing your why and referring to it throughout your day, throughout your life, it just helps you to continue to fuel or to drive towards your worthy ideal, drive towards the place that you know that you're going. It's almost like you're in the automobile, you know what you're going, and your why is your gas. It's your gasoline. It's your fuel for you to get to where you're going. You got to know your why and refer to it every chance that you get. Mr. Dotan.
Do you know why you want to do what you like to do? It's the motive question. Every good thing done with the wrong motive ends in a kind of disaster. And it's so easy to like to do something that looks great, but really, if you've not drilled down deep enough, it may be the wrong motive. It may be that you are just comparing yourself to someone else without you knowing. And so that's why you need to drill down, I think, about 7 steps deep into asking the question, why am I doing this? Or I want to be better in speaking. Why do you want to be better in speaking? I just want to be better in speaking. Then maybe there's really no reason, because there should be something driving that, and not just you getting being better in speaking. I want to make it to the stage as a public speaker. Why do you want to make it to the stage as a public speaker? Why do you want to become a millionaire? There must be something greater than that drives it. And when I say something greater, it has to do with, how does that serve humanity? How does that contribute to society? How does that make a difference in another person's life? How does it add value to another person's life? It should go beyond you. It should go beyond me. You know, that's when you are now focusing on something that is greater than you as a person. Otherwise, if it's just about you, it won't give you fulfillment. That's the truth. It's just another thing you're adding onto your list in terms of success. And success doesn't give fulfillment, but significance gives fulfillment, because success is personal. It's about me being better, but significance is about me making my life count in such a way that it adds value into the life of other people. That's what gives fulfillment in life. So that's why you want to drill down so deep when you're asking the why question, so that you are sure that you have the right motive behind what you are trying to achieve as a dream.
Now, here's the question, guys. For you that are maybe you're living your dream, you're working on living your dream, you're going towards your dream. We just mentioned about our big dreams, right? And hopefully you guys are making progress towards those things. Here's the question. As it relates to your big dream, whether you're walking in it now or you're walking towards it, here's the question I got to ask you. Do you feel like that you were born to do whatever it is that you are doing or you're going towards? Do you feel like you were born to do that? Or is it just a good idea? Or is it just, it'll make me some money, it'll pay the bills? Or do you feel like this is what I was born to do? This is what I was born to do. Now, of course, we know things change over time, but you're going towards this big dream for a reason. Is this big dream that you have, this goal that you're going toward, is it the fulfillment that you get that feels like, man, this is what I was born to do? And so Carl Jung had a great quote. He said that your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Whoever looks outside, they only dream. But whoever looks inside, they become awakened. So we mentioned, is this what you were born to do? Is this an awakening for you? Or is this just something that's dreaming is up in your head, but it's not in your heart? Is whatever it is that you're pursuing to do, whatever it is you think is for you, your big worthy, your worthy ideal, your big dream, your definite major purpose, do you feel like that was what you were born to do? Or do you feel like, hey, once I complete this, this mission is done, once I get this, I'm still going to be searching for something else because I still have not found or tapped into what I feel like I was born to do. Now, what you were born to do doesn't necessarily mean it has to relate to money. You could also be doing what you're born to do, and it's just what you do on the side. It's where you give your time. It's where you give back to society. It's where you volunteer. I don't know. But I'm asking you, have you found or have you tapped into some place in your life, in your heart, where you feel like this is what I was born to do? Mr. Dotan.
Finding out the question, is this what I was born to do? I know it's an area where many people struggle, and it's a lifelong journey of discovering who you really are in life. It's not something that would, for some people, they're lucky. They just have that intuition. This is what I was born to do. But for majority of the population, in fact, they say studies shows that you may never get to the end of that question or have the right answer to that question until when you've passed the halftime, maybe like the mid-age of your life. After you've passed the mid-age, that's when it becomes really, really clear, when you must have gone round and round and round, doing this, doing that, trying this out, trying that business out, trying doing this thing, and then you are now at the point where after your midlife you are saying, okay, now I get it. I think after all I've gone through, this still keeps coming back to me. Right from my childhood, this still keeps coming back to me. This must be what I was born to do. For most people it may be like that. So what we're trying to say here is that it's something you will have to continuously work on. It's not a one event answer that you will get for most people. That was this what I was born to do, because it's a journey in itself, each and every day, listening to your heart, listening to your mind about what you are really, really, really passionate about. Even right from childhood, you have to take yourself back to those things that you really held strongly when you were very, very young. For some people, and that's where again parental guidance comes in very, very valuable, in the sense that if we as parents are able to like help our children, guide them through what we've seen right from when they were young. So for some kids, they love to draw. That's their passion. You just see every now and then you see them drawing. My little one, he likes to draw. So I'm already beginning to see that there's something about this guy's life that is taking him to the area of art. And so as a parent, I want to guide him through that process as it becomes more mature. Of course, that may not be art in itself. It may evolve into some other thing. But as a parent, I have the responsibility and the duty to guide them through those stages of life so that he can really narrow in on what he ought to do in life, rather than me say, no, you must be a doctor. No, go get a degree for you to be a doctor or to be a lawyer. And which is where many of us fall away from our passion, because what we're actually doing most times is what our parents wanted us to do, rather than the thing that we grew up knowing that we were good at, but we even forgot because we've strayed away. We've strayed away from that, that line of thought, that thing that we held on so strongly when we were still very, very young. And that's why if you have to retrace yourself backwards, it takes a long time. It takes a focus. It takes you continuously thinking back and taking yourself through that journey. What was it that I was always enjoying doing right from when I was small? What is it that keeps coming back to my mind despite all the detours I've taken in life? This thing keeps coming back. It's not going away. That may be your passion. That may be what you've been called to do.
Absolutely.
Because once you've not started doing it, you won't even find fulfillment. And it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. No matter what you do, it keeps coming back. That may be what you've been born to do.
And here's what I would also add to that, man. Have you ever gone on a self-discovery mission journey? And what does that look like? Well, that looks like, hey, you look back and try to figure out some stuff on your own, but then you also go to those people who've known you the longest, your parents, your siblings, your friends that have been around in your life for 20, 30 years, and you start asking them the self-discovery questions. Man, what do you think I'm great at? What do you think? When you, as long as you know me, what do you see for me? You ask them, because sometimes it's hard for us to see it for ourselves. But if we talk to the people that have known us the longest and that we trust the most, and value their opinion, hopefully you got good relationships with these people, then they can point out to you like, man, ever since that you was a child, you was boom, 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 boom. You've always been like this, boom, 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 boom. And they will let you know. The question is, are you going to be willing to listen to what they have to say about your life? Are you going to have the courage to step to them and say, hey, I'm just trying to figure this thing out. And I just want to know your opinion. I value your opinion. I like to know what you have to say about my life. I've done that. Hopefully, maybe that's a challenge for you today. That's an action step for you to take today. If you're serious about finding your passion and your purpose, if you have not found it yet. Go to your parents, go to your siblings, go to your friends that have known you the longest, and just ask the self-discovery questions. And they'll be open and honest with you. Here's what I've seen a part of you as long as I've known you. They start telling me I like to talk, so that's what I start doing. I start talking more. So hopefully you guys, this has been very helpful. This is the first part to how to find your passion and your purpose. And these questions, they relate to what you want to do. So tomorrow we'll finish up with questions, going through questions. Sorry, we don't have time today. Questions going through 5 through 7, I believe, and 5 through 8. And that'll wrap us up for the law of awareness. And then we'll do a recap on Friday. Now, Friday is going to be an opportunity for you to join the seats, to share your experience from this week. Share it with us. We had someone join on Monday. We had someone join yesterday. And so remember, this is not a me show, it's a we show. So if you ever feel the need, something hits you and you want to jump in, let us know. We'll open them up for you. But this is what we do Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. The Growing Network. This is the network for people, growing people. And so we got www.wealthyhealthyhappy.net. That is the website. And this is the show, Wealthy, Healthy, Happy People. The law of awareness, how to find your passion and your purpose. Any last words for the people, Mr. Dotan?
How to find your passion and your purpose. Yeah, it's a good takeaway question for those of us on the line that may still be struggling with this. As Ivan has said, take down those points. The people that have known you long enough, get together with them and just ask them, maybe without giving them too much information, so that they will probably not be biased to say what they think you would like to hear, but for them to give you their honest opinion. And then cycle that back into what you yourself have been observing about yourself, what the things that you are really passionate about, the things that is really, those things that are really strong in your mind, and then begin to jot it down, and then also begin to observe moving forward the things that you have natural inclination towards, in order for you to be able to measure and narrow down on that. This, I think, is what I've been born to do. And as we continue on this discussion, I know there are other things we will try to approach this from other different angles as well, which may open it up in your mind in a different perspective. And then, of course, on Friday, when people get to share their own experience, that's also a good way to take one or two things that will help you become laser focused in you, saying, this is what I've been born to do. But whatever it is, we've all been born to be great. There's greatness inside of you.
Absolutely. There's greatness inside of you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. The Law of Awareness, going through the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell. Feel free to get the book. We got a long way to go, but hey, we're just taking our time going through this because we're more focused on growth. And growth, as I think about a plant, it doesn't grow overnight. It takes us, it grows a little bit, and it grows a little bit, and it grows a little bit over time. And so for some of us, you go through growth spurts. But for many of us, it's just the continual growth, the progressive realization of your worthy ideal, which means progress. So when we're talking about growth, we're talking about progress that you have in your life. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, guys, 7 a.m., the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator. I want to thank Mr. Bill Time for visiting with us again. And Mr. Beatles, I'm sure he'll be back with us tomorrow. He had some technical difficulties today. But here's the deal, guys. We're wealthy, we're healthy, we are happy, and we're out.